Hello, welcome. I'm Diana. Welcome to my scrap room. Today we're working on collage strips to use up all the scraps that we all have laying around, all the things that we say, oh, that's so cute, I'm not going to throw it away, or I can still use that, it's big enough. So we're going to dig into those piles today and make a few things. So come on and join me. I'll just do it by color theme. Trim them up, use all these little pieces of scraps that I have. I've been working on some already, but using up my stuff, my stash, since I have so much stuff, and hopefully they'll go well in the paper kits that I'm making. I'm using Studio Matte Medium. This is an older version. Ranger, I believe Ranger does these, and you can get them in smaller bottles, which I prefer because then they don't dry out. You can hear dog clicking in the background, but I'm using this in a brush and random stuff. I brought out some washi. I don't know if you can see that. Paper strips that I have in my extras box. Using a brush. I'm actually just working on the back of paper bags from the grocery store. Try to use our own bags now, but you know, we always have a stash of stuff that we keep. These are cut down to about 2.5 inches wide. I am going to trim them down, but I'm just using mix and match. If I have stuff that's already cut into strips, even better. Old Project Life cards that I have, stashes of. Just ripping and going in different directions, adding things both ways. Add a little bit more glue. If it looks a little plain, just add some washi. This one is brand new, so it hasn't been pulled yet, but here we go. Oh, that's a cute one. Oh, that's okay. It still works. It will still work. I'm going to go back in and trim all these up to size before I am done. I also mix colors. I think I have some more of this. I'm going to use this first. And then add some stitching to it. I have, like I said, pieces and parts of paper from projects. This is that paper. I'm going to use the other side now. From projects, even brand new paper, stashes of it that I'm cutting down. I try to cut them down so that I can still use the paper for a journal if I'm making journals, or for card size. So I generally cut from the bottom instead of the top or the middle. That makes sense. Instead of taking the 12 by 12 and cutting it by 6, I go across the bottom. So you can see that was the bottom of something. So that I can, see, I just kind of dig through my scraps. Since this page is mostly pink, I am going to try and stick with pink on here. Adding some more. I'm going to speed up a little so I don't talk the whole time. Okay, so this is what I have. Looks like a mess, but that's the back. And I'll trim it up once they dry. I did a couple already. And a couple more. Actually, I did 3 total. So I'm gonna let these dry, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alrighty, here we go. Welcome back. I had enough time to make myself some coffee. let this dry. And I'm going to trim it up. So I cut these down, like I said, to 2.5 inches, the brown paper, the bags. Because I let most of this go over, I'm going to try and keep it at 2 inches. The ends are pretty sloppy, so I'm going to give myself a straight edge first. Because of all the crafts I do, I cannot cut a straight edge with scissors. I don't know, maybe that's just my downfall. But anyway, we're going to cut this down. I trim this up on this side first. Oh, I think I made that worse. Let's see. No, it's decent. Alrighty, here we go. So we're gonna give it a trim. Take all these pieces off, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. If I was doing multiples, I'd use a rotary. But since it's just a simple paper bag and some pattern paper and washi tape, with a little bit of Collage Medium or matte medium, MultiMedium, excuse me. It's not that thick, so it'll be okay. This is actually going to hang over. It's going to be a little shorter than 2.5. And I use 2.5 so that I can go right back in and split it in half at 1 1/4. So I'll give myself some strips. Cutting the brown edge so I don't get snagged up on any of the pieces if they didn't stick down all the way. So then I have 2 strips. Okay, so those are this is the one you guys watched me do. And then I will take it to my sewing machine and add some more to it. I'm going to move this over. I already stitched some up. The first sets I did, I cut them up and I trimmed them. Added some cream stitching to it. I could leave it like that. Excuse me, my stuff's falling over. Clear off this crumbs, scraps I should say, not crumbs. Into the trash. Here's the other one. Actually, let me show you what went together. This went with this. So this gave me 2 pieces. And I just trimmed, edged it with the standard stitch on my machine. This one ended up to be a little too thin, but I did 4 strips of stitching instead of just around the edge. These are still a little plain for me, so I'm gonna bring out my distress crayons and a couple ink pads and add a little bit more color to it. I'm gonna stick with the pink, judge for, I always say that wrong, flamingo, tattered rose. I don't have a lot of pink, but I do have crayons. Sponge sugar, pickled raspberry, and worn lipstick. Oop, I forgot to put this in the water. I'm going to get a brush. So I have water. Have a little bit of water. I'm just going to make myself a little tiny water puddle right there. Start with some tattered rose. I do need to re-ink this one, so it's a little bland. I'm going to work on here, off the paper to on. It'll take a little bit of the color on the seam, on the string that I stitched with. I'm just going to kind of go around, give it a little bit, not too much. I could go heavier in some spots if I wanted to, like up here. I think I'll add a little bit more. Flip it around. I usually use an extra piece of paper so I don't get too much ink on my fingers, and because my fingers like to leave fingerprints. I'm not sure if everybody's does that, but get some, my table's rattling a little. Hopefully this is still in frame. Again, my first video, my first little tutorial video. Hopefully it works out. We'll see what the editing looks like. I'm going to take some of my crayon and come in here and just add a little bit of color in here. And then use a brush and distress it a little. Oh, there it is. With crayons, if you don't move quick, there it is, you still get the, you can get the crayon lines, which sometimes I like. I think that's fun. Oh, I must use something dark with this last time. Oh yeah, a little blue. That's not great. It's not a good thing. Let's rinse that off again. Maybe I'll grab a different brush. So I have a little bit of blue in there. Didn't intend for that to happen, but that's okay. It all just works out. I'm going to add some more pink. Let me turn this around so the cupcakes are facing me the right way. Add some more dark pink in there. I like this one, picked raspberry, picked. Recently swatched all of my crayons and standard ink pads to help me know what I had. And I love the way it all turned out. But there we go. So how much different does this one look from this one? I believe that was the match. No, this was the match. The colors are a lot different. So if you go in and add some Distress inks, crayons to it, it makes it look quite a bit different. So I'm going to do a little bit of that to here too and speed up the film. So just adding a little bit of crayon, a little bit of ink. Let me dry up my station right here. You can change the brightness of the paper. Give it a little bit of grunge. Give it a little bit more. Or stitch all the way through. So there we go. Just wanted to jump back in and show you other pieces I was working on. Worked on that yesterday. Also did some yellow and some blues. I did some that I made an error on, which you wouldn't know unless I told you, but I punched them instead to make tags. I'll add some strings in here, but they have stitching around the back. So other options to go with your collaging. So you can collage strips, you can collage pieces and die cut them, make them tags. It's just a matter of using all of those little bits and pieces that you save. Have fun. So I hope you got some couple little ideas today how to work on all those scrap pieces that you have that you're hoarding and saving and keeping, and I'm going to use that one day. Bring it out, start using it, start creating, get your hands dirty, use some glue, use some ink, and have fun. Until next time.